Thank you so much for coming, and thanks to the VanHAC for inviting me to speak here. I'm a graduate student from the Department of Computer Science at STU, supervised by Dr. Shati. Today, I'm going to talk about my research topic, identifying the exceptional players in the NHL draft through model tree learning. First, let's take an overview of my research projects. Well, it's important for every team, especially the team manager, to draft prospects to build a successful NHL team. So we decided to rank players for the draft picks based on the stats from the pre-draft stats from the Major Junior League, similar to the work of Doug Shackers in 2016 in the draft by numbers. We believe the ranking should be interpretable for every hockey expert, like why he should be drafted and where his strength points are. Also, we believe the ranking should be predictive for a player's future performance in the NHL. Basically, our model tree combines the advantages of regression models and the cohort-based models. Compared to a single regression model, our model tree are a group of regression models, potentially with greater predictive power. While compared to a similarity-based approach, our model tree does not require users to specify the similarity matrix, because the model tree can learn these metrics from data automatically. We predict whether a player can play at least one game in the NHL or not, based on the probability calculated by the model tree to predict whether he is going to play at NHL at all. We also can use the probability to rank the players for the draft picks. Now we are going to take a look at our data sets. Well, our data sets are crawled from a wide resource, including the NHL.com, the elite prospects, and the draft analyst. We also got part data sets from David Wilson. Our data sets are including a broad set of input features, because model tree can handle high dimensionality very well. The input features are mainly composed of two parts: the demographics, like height, age, and the country group of the player, and also the pre-performance stats, like a regular season games played by a player before he's drafted. We put our data sets available at our GitHub repository. If you are interested, you can take a look there. Well, it's also noteworthy that we made a website to showcase our data sets. Due to the connection problem, we just show a screenshot here, sorry. Supposing you are interested, supposing that you are interested in the feature regular season points for the players drafted between 2004 and 2008, then you can see the scatter plot between the relationship between the number of games played and the regular season points. You can also fork the data sets for your own work if you are interested. Now we are going to talk about our NHL performance metrics. Following Dr. Shack's work, we also use the number of games played of a player in his first 7 seasons after he's been drafted. Then we ranked the number of games played as the highest ranking. It's noteworthy in our data sets and some previous studies that we found out that many players, about 50% of them, were not going to play at NHL at all after they are being drafted, which brings up the problem of zero inflation. And we are going to talk more about this problem, how model tree can handle this very well. For now, let's look more at our high side ranking. From this table, you can see that we can project the games played to the ranking of players. Specifically, the more games you played, the smaller rank you are going to get. And from the histogram on the left side, you can see that many players were not going to play at all, even they are drafted. It's about 50% of them in our data sets. Now, we can discuss how the model tree can predict the actual appearance of a player perfectly. Oh, not so perfectly, not 100% accuracy. We mentioned the zero inflation problem before, but that about 50% of players were not going to play in the NHL at all. However, it also means our data sets are kind of balanced. which brings a classification task into our mind. So we decide to predict whether a player can play at least one game in the NHL at all. Here is an example tree of our logistic model tree. In the lymph nodes, there are a group of players with its own regression model to predict the chance they are going to play in the NHL or not. While in the intermediate nodes, there are features learned by the model tree to differentiate different player groups. This is the tree structure we learned from our drafted players between 2004 and 2006. In this tree, you can see that if a player has a rank smaller than 12 by the central scouting surveys, then he belongs to the strongest group, where the percentage of players who play at least one game is about 80%. Then the tree chooses the regular season points as the next bulletin points. If a player has a CSA rank bigger than 12 and his points is below 12, then he belongs to the weakest group. Later, the tree chooses the regular season plus minus as the next bulletin points. It kind of forms to average group of players. Lastly, the tree chooses the assists as the last bulletin points. It's noteworthy that although Group 6 is a relatively small group, but it has the highest percentage of players who play at least one game in the NHL. And in our study, we found out that most players in this group are from Canada, and some of the players in this group are underestimated by the Central Scouting Service. From this table, you can see that both Sidney Crosby and Patrick Kane belongs to the strongest group, Group 1. Now, we are going to present our predictive performance using model tree learning. Our evaluation metrics also follow Dr. Schack's work using the Spearman rank correlation to evaluate the performance results. Basically, we compare the highest ranking to the real actual draft order. From this scatter plot on the left side, you can see that the earlier a player is taken, the more games he is likely to play in the NHL. That's in accord with the real world, right? This scatter plot shows the probability calculated by our model tree with the relationship to the number of games played. It shows that the higher probability you got from our model tree, the more likely you are going to play in the NHL. It kind of validates our model visually. Now we can see some actual numbers presenting our model tree's performance. The correlation results are on the rightmost side. You can see that our model tree performs much better than the actual draft order. It's about 0.8, doubling the results from the actual draft order ranking. We also extend our work to identify the strong and weak points of exceptional players. As Lawrence said in the Florida Panthers, the numbers at the beginning of the conversation. We leverage the ways learned by the model tree identified by the model tree to identify the player features that contribute most to higher or lower a player's ranking. Well, the log difference of play at least one game between a random player and an average player in Group G can be calculated by this formula. Where Wj is the weight learned by the model tree in this group. Xij is the value of a player feature in this group, while overlay Gj is the average feature value in Group G. To find the strongest points and weakest points of player, we only need to find a J that maximizes this formula. Our methods also identify the true underestimated player by Central Scouting Service, Kyle Kaminsky and Brad Marchand. For Kyle Kaminsky, he was not ranked by Central Scouting Service at all at his draft year. However, he's ranked top 3 by our methods, and his strongest points is identified as the games played in the draft year. In the actual NHL world, he also did pretty good. He played more than 100 NHL games, and won a Stanley Cup in 2015. When it comes to another player, Brandon Marchand, you can see that he's ranked as the best player in his group by our model tree. However, he was only ranked 80 by the Central Scouting Service. In the actual NHL world, he played more than 500 games and won a Stanley Cup in 2016. In conclusion, our work can be summarized as follows. We published a NHL draft dataset with browser to showcase our datasets. Second, our model tree can assign each player to its own regression group to predict whether he's going to play in the NHL or not. Also, our model tree the tree structure is pretty interpretable for the team scouts to see where the strength points of a player are. And the probability calculated by the model tree can be used to rank players for the draft picks. In the end, our correlation results, shows good correlation with the real NHL success metrics, the number of games played. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening.
Have you used this model to make any predictions about this year's draft class?
What do you mean by draft class?
So the 2018 entry draft, is this model able to predict some of the players that are likely to be good in the future but haven't been accepted by Central Scouting?
We didn't do this work in our research, but this model tree can definitely apply to these data sets. And it can also be extended to apply to other data sets, like the NBA data sets. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Did you handle goalies differently, or were they excluded?
You mean the zero against
Goalies.
goalies? We excluded them.
All right, one last question. Okay, thank you very much.
Goalie lives matter too.